We are live. What's up, everyone? Mike here. Welcome back inside the garage area. And I gotta get my Chase Elliott hat on, because we are going over yesterday's race at Circuit of the Americas. First time ever that NASCAR's been there. The 3.5 mile behemoth of a track in Austin, Texas. Ugh, jeez. My chair is not cooperating. And Circuit of the Americas was as wild as I was calling it out to be. Pardon the background noise, I've got the Islanders Penguins Game 6 on. Not Game 6, Game 5, excuse me. Game 6 is Wednesday. But I've got Islanders Penguins Game 5 on. For my new friend Kim Moisa, I'll scroll 3. But anyway. Circuit of the Americas was wild. And props to all involved in making it happen. The crew at Circuit of the Americas, NASCAR, Marcus Smith, Bruton Smith at SMI. Oh my god, where do I begin? It was a monsoon at Circuit of the Americas yesterday. Torrential dump, not torrential per se, but it was raining a lot at COTA yesterday. For the Echo Park Texas Grand Prix. Tyler Reddick was on pole, but he did not lead the first lap. AJ Allmendinger had a great run. Michael McDowell had a great run. Tyler Reddick still had a great run. I was hoping for William Byron to continue on his hot streak, his top 10 streak. Wasn't meant to be, but it was going to be a close race, especially for eventual winner Chase Elliott. He and Kyle Busch pitted on the same lap. They were 2 to the bad on fuel, and there were cautions aplenty. First one came out when Daniel Suarez went for a wild ride. 8 laps in, brought us our first caution. We also had some major big-time contenders like Martin Truex Jr., like Bubba Wallace get involved. Kevin Harvick, Bubba Wallace got involved in the 4th caution to start stage 2. And then in caution 5, oh boy, where do I begin? Truex gets into the 34 Michael McDowell. And then, I think you may have seen this on the live stream if you were watching it on Twitch and YouTube yesterday. The 41, Cole Custer, just had nowhere to go. He was an innocent bystander. He barrels into Truex and just slams into the back of him. His car goes ablaze. Truex's car totaled. They're both out of it. Oh my god. And, wow. I don't know what to say. That last caution for rain and visibility, I think that should have been called earlier. Not gonna lie, I think that should have been called earlier, but I digress. And I'm going to defer to Bob Pogress's Twitter for this. And he has reaction from Scott Miller, who's one of the race organizers from NASCAR. So, let's get into some reactions. First from Scott Miller, a race organizer and competition director.
Stop the race when you did.
So obviously as the race continued on there in the final stage, it kept raining harder and harder, and we were monitoring the visibility for the drivers on the back straightaway there. It was getting really, really tough to see.
Okay, back straightaway between the hairpin turn 11 and that right-hander in turn 12.
Again over there, lots of spray. So we were going to make one attempt at running the Air Titans back there like we had before to see if we could kind of get back going again, and it just didn't look like it was going to happen at all with the volume of water that was coming down. So it was time to call it.
Scott, after Harvick's incident, he said, quote, "We don't have any business being out in the rain, period. All I can say is this is the worst decision that we've ever made in our sport that I've been a part of, and I've never felt more unsafe in my whole racing career, period."
I mean, Harvick has, Harvick has his right to his opinion, obviously. I don't think that's probably an opinion that's universally shared among the drivers.
I think Harvick's right. NASCAR has no business being out in rainstorms like that. You know, NASCAR is, I think, the only discipline of motorsport that doesn't race in torrential downpours, in any kind of rain. So, I think Harvick's totally in the right.
And we certainly don't want to put anybody in harm's way out there. It's a tough job for us to balance, a competitive event, a good show for the fans, and with the driver's best interest. It's a tough job. I think rain at a race points out the fact that everybody in this business has a hard job. You guys have a hard job. We have a hard job. The drivers have a hard job. Everybody's got a tough job, and balancing all the elements to suit everybody is a tough job.
So what do you learn from today? I mean, do you stop races a little bit more earlier than you would have maybe from what you saw earlier today, or do you?
So I think that we always try to learn from what we do. This was kind of a new thing at a big natural terrain road course, and we will certainly learn from that. And we probably did. I would kind of own the fact that maybe we did let it go a little bit too long there before we did something. So, but it's a learning experience for all of us. We will learn. We'll be better next time. And I think probably your original question of would we pull the plug earlier? Probably so.
Hendrick and Allmendinger and a couple others said that maybe something knocked the water down. It's other series race in the rain. It's, maybe NASCAR just needs to find a way to adapt to that.
Well, we've actually talked a little bit about that since the race, and
I think Austin Hendrick, AJ Allmendinger, they're on the right too. They have the road course experience, much more Allmendinger than Hendrick because he's been in Champ Car and IndyCar. He's raced in these kinds of conditions before, but something to counteract the retention of water by these tracks would do NASCAR good in these kinds of situations.
Looking at, getting some super high res video or something of where the water is emanating from, where the spray is emanating from, and see if there's anything that we could look at or do that might cut the spray down. You look at other series and there's a lot of spray in them too. I think where we differ a little bit on racing in the rain is, we pride ourselves on super tight competition. Our cars are really close together, much closer together than most other series, and I think that's kind of, one of the things that poses a little bit more problem for us with the spray.
Take one more. Scott, today's race means stop NASCAR from racing in rain in the future, right?
I don't believe so. I think we'll just take a good look at how to be better at it. We again, as I said, we learn from everything we do, and we'll try to learn from this.
Okay, so I'll try to learn from this and be better in the future at racing in the rain. But I'm going to go with Harvick's sentiment that NASCAR has no business racing in the rain. We have reaction from Kyle Busch here. Let's play that for you.
It's all discretion. It's all a discretion call on how much rain is too much rain. We certainly found today that there was definitely times of too much rain and too much puddling. They cleaned it off and it was just sprinkling and it was fine after that. No issues after that. Single file restarts was a smart idea, but we're doing all we can. We're trying to put on a show for the fans, right?
Does it matter? This track has that long back straightaway, which seemed to be the worst. Is it not going to matter which track you're at that you have that type of spray?
No, I think Road America, if I remember right, they got a super long back straightaway with a kink in it. So that's going to be even worse than this one was. So, you know, there's definitely times where conditions are treacherous, and, you know, we need to be smart about it.
And he's right. Road America's got this super long backstretch. They've got a kink in the track, and they're going to Road America in a little over a month. So Road America's got to be ready for it. They got to be ready for the rain, potential rain, for these NASCAR Cup Series stars.
I mean, as long as they, I mean, did you feel that they should have called it earlier, or not called it, but stopped the race earlier?
We should have stopped earlier when there was too much rain. Yeah. When it was bad, when we were wrecking every restart, we should have checked up and waited. Which then rain subsided. We got back out there, everything was fine, and then now you couldn't see. I mean, the last 5 laps, you couldn't see nothing through 8, 9, 10, 11 down the backstretch into 12.
This is one of the few times I agree with Kyle Busch. In that last restart, you just couldn't see a thing through turns 8, 9, 10, hairpin in 11, going down the backstretch into 12. Visibility was at a premium. There was no visibility, like, at all. So, I'm going to agree with Kyle Busch here. I really am. Back to Bob Pockrass' Twitter. See if we can find more driver reactions. Oh, and by the way, this was Hendrick Motorsports' 268th Cup Series win as an owner. His next Cup win will be number 269, and that will that will beat Petty Enterprises for most wins by a single organization. 200 of those wins from Petty Enterprises were by the King, Richard Petty. So there's that. Drivers didn't seem to be bothered by NASCAR's decision to call the race, so let's go into more driver reactions.
Waited a little bit longer to try to see if this lets up or anything. Are you good with them?
It's been 4 hours, bro. Like, enough's enough. White flag, waited.
It was getting pretty bad. Like 3 laps in a row, I was starting to hydroplane down the backstretch. So, selfishly, I'd like to have kept going, just knowing that he was going to have to pit, and I would have been, handed the lead in the win.
Yeah, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson's teammate, was 2 laps short on fuel. So, had that race gone green and not been called, had it gone green the rest of the way, Chase would have had to come in with like 5 or 6 to go. So, that caution and subsequent red flag proved to be a blessing for Chase Elliott and made Kyle Busch feel like an idiot.
Win. But, they made the right call. It was getting bad, and, they'd already had some pretty big wrecks and stuff throughout the race. So, I'm not at all upset with the call that was made to make the race official and end it.
Here's the situation, if we kept going, everything was fine. We kept, clicking laps off, probably everything would have been fine. Yeah, we were hydroplaning a lot down the straightaway. Yes, there's standing water. What's the line? I don't know, right? I think we're all trying to figure that one out together.
I think most of the field was hydroplaning in the latter part of that race. I saw a lot of that rooster tail effect coming from the back end of those cars. And I was thinking to myself, man, this is not going to end well. Someone is going to get involved in a big wreck, and NASCAR's going to have to make a decision whether to keep this race going or stop in the interest of safety. And they made the right call to stop when they did. Granted, they should have stopped a little earlier than they did, but I'm glad they stopped the race when they did.
But once they put the yellow out, then you can't restart the race because you pack everybody up and they're hydroplaning. It's a rescue disaster. You can't restart the race. But everyone was spread out at that moment, so you probably were okay, but maybe safe than sorry after looking at that crash with Cole in the 19. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see the race. I just saw a replay a minute ago.
That crash with Custer in the 41, Martin Truex Jr. 19, that was scary. Not gonna lie, that was scary. And if you saw my live stream yesterday, I think you could tell by my reaction that it was absolutely brutal. I cannot fathom that kind of thing happening. And thanks to the safety innovations that NASCAR has made over years since the tragic passing of Dale Earnhardt Sr., we have not seen a major driver fatality since then. So, credit to NASCAR's R&D department.
When I got out, but you know, when that's kind of a situation, you need to really you know, be aware of the situation. So,
Do you think they should have waited out a little bit longer?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what all they're seeing. Selfishly, I'll take it and get out of here with fourth. So we were going to run top 5 either way. Aside from a restart now, which is pretty much impossible the way that as much water as they had. Of course, it looks like it's not raining now, hardly at all. So no, I'm fine. They made the call. They're the boss.
Yeah, once NASCAR makes the call, it's over. So, we have reaction from Rick Hendrick on tying Petty Enterprise's record for most wins by an owner. Let's go with that.
And, you know, Richard Petty was going to be my first driver. And I thought we had a deal, and it didn't come together. And, you know, to be able to, again, the respect and admiration that I have for him and Kyle and that whole family, it's a big deal for me to be just mentioned with him and me. And
So, a very poignant moment for Big H, Mr. Rick Hendrick, to tie his, I don't want to say his hero, but a man he looked up to in Richard Petty with 267 wins, 267 wins as an owner. His next one will be 268, and his first chance to beat Richard Petty in terms of wins as an owner will be next week. Will be Sunday, at the Coke 600. Let's get to some reaction from Chase Elliott now, the winner at COTA. The inaugural winner at COTA. Now, this would be if the race had resumed. Would he have been worried about fuel? Again, he was 2 laps to the bad, barring a caution, which he ended up getting.
Yeah, I mean, to me, obviously the fuel side of things was what it was. We needed some caution laps to get us to the end. The biggest thing I was thinking about for the restart was being, you know, if I had a good restart and I was the first one to the back straightaway, that first guy back there was going to have a tough road ahead.
And Chase hasn't been historically good at restarts. So, a restart may have killed him.
To make it down there without wrecking, in my opinion, I think it was going to be tough. You know, with those green flag conditions, it seemed like cars were kind of spread out around the track, so it seemed like there was always a little bit of a tire track to run in. But when you have a caution like that and it's just building, and we're all bunched up and guys aren't running around there kind of keeping the water moving, that's when I feel like it gets worse. So as soon as a caution came out, it's just hard to stay ahead of it at that point, and I think that was the situation we found ourselves in.
And was there any point during today where you just felt like, man, we just shouldn't be out here, or, you know, you're a race car driver and you're going to do whatever NASCAR tells you to do?
Yeah, no, that's not my call. I mean, if they say race, we're going to go, and you know, if they make the call to say that it's not doable or not smart, then that's what we'll do too. Look, I mean, it's not for me to say. It's not my call. I'm not the one in those, you know, in that position to have to make that call, and I don't want to be. So, you know, it's I'll try to make the most of whatever it is, and you know, try to do my job the best I can.
So that was reaction from Chase. He did end up winning, but he cut it kind of close. Had that caution not come out, he would have had to pit late in the going. Now for some fast thoughts from Bob Pockris. Bob, take it away.
Hey everyone, Bob Pockris from Fox Sports, and some fast thoughts here at Circuit of the Americas after the inaugural Cup race was rain shortened by 14 laps. Did NASCAR make the right decision in calling the race and declaring Chase Elliott the winner among the heavy rains? I say they certainly made the right choice in stopping the race. Drivers couldn't see and they were hydroplaning. Could they have waited a little bit longer? Probably. I wouldn't have minded if they waited another 30 minutes to see if they could get the track free of the standing water and potentially to see if the rain subsided. But look, after what they saw on the second stage, they certainly waited too long to stop that race, or that portion of the race. You saw some horrible wrecks. Even NASCAR afterwards said,
"Oh, that was a horrible wreck," and they probably should have stopped it in the second stage.
You know, they pretty much owned up to saying, yeah, they probably should have stopped the race earlier. You know, look, drivers couldn't see. It was just an unsafe situation. I think nobody should have been surprised by it. Drivers were saying that they couldn't see yesterday in the rain. So I think NASCAR maybe should have had maybe more of a system in place to talk to drivers, maybe yellow flag it, and then say, hey, what do you think? You know, get some response, get some feedback. You know, this wasn't a surprise that there was going to be a lot of rooster tails and drivers are going to have trouble seeing. So, you know, a little bit of onus on NASCAR there to maybe have been a little bit more prepared, a little bit more proactive. But, you know, I guess sometimes, especially new track, you just don't know. And you just don't know how it's going to be with 40 cars racing, especially double file restarts. So, you know, it's certainly a learning experience. I wish the fans here at COTA could have gotten some racing in the dry. You know, some people ask me, well, what do the drivers think about COTA? I don't think they really know about COTA because they didn't race here in the dry. They don't really know how the cars would race here under regular conditions. So I assume they'll come back next year and see what happens. So again, you know, look, Chase Elliott, I believe he was a proper winner in this race. Yes, he potentially would have run out of fuel, but, you know, if there was been another caution, he would have been okay. I think he had a great car, especially there in the latter stages of the race. Obviously, he's a great road course driver, so I have no problem with him winning the race. You know, even Kyle Larson didn't seem to be all that upset that NASCAR called the race. He said he was hydroplaning there at the end. So what are you going to do? NASCAR put forth its, I don't say it's best today on the racetrack, but they did get a race in amid the rain, and the fans, while they got soaked, it wasn't so freezing out here that I felt like it was a miserable experience. I felt that they were entertained, and that's what NASCAR comes here to do.
All right. So, those are Bob Pockris' thoughts. Now we look ahead to Charlotte. Schedule's a little different for the weekend than it was this past weekend at COTA. Friday we're going to have truck practice, Xfinity practice, truck qualifying, and then the truck race. Saturday, Xfinity qualifying, Cup qualifying, Xfinity race, ARCA practice and qualifying, then the ARCA race. And Sunday, of course, we'll have the 600. As the Penguins score. Oh, Kim's not going to be happy about that. Kim Moises not going to be happy about that. You may know her as Isles Girl 3 here on YouTube and on Twitter. Cup practice also Friday. Excuse me. Jay Leno, Kevin Eubanks will be giving the command to start engines. Christian McCaffrey will be driving the pace car at the 600. And we're getting more loosened restrictions for future events. Atlanta will allow tent camping in its infield for the July 11th race. And NASCAR is keeping some limits for Sonoma for the June 6th event. But while they're encouraging vaccination, they're no longer requiring guests to present proof of vaccination because of a variety of mandates in the state of California regarding vaccination verification. More news for Charlotte. Ty Dillon will be driving the 23 for Our Motorsports in the Charlotte Xfinity race. And 38 Cup cars for Charlotte. David Starr in the 66. Smithley will take over in the 51, and Cody Ware will be in the 53. We take a look at the entry list there. .43 entries for 36 spots in the Xfinity race. Josh Berry's in the 8 for JR Motorsports. Ty Dillon, as we mentioned, 23. Brandon Dovick in the 26. Tyler Reddick will be in the 31. Ty Gibbs, 54. Stephen Parsons, 76. Dylan Bassett will be in as well, as will BJ McLeod and Chase Briscoe. So we have 2 signal jumpers in this race. And for the trucks, 40 trucks, 36 spots. Drew Dollar will be in the 51, Tommy Jeske in the 66, Thor Sport. Christian Eggers in the 98. Grant Enfinger will be in the 9 this weekend. And Jack Wood will be in the 24 GNS. Interesting. So, top 31 in qualifying will be locked in for Xfinity and trucks. And 5 provisionals, 4 if there's a past champion. Only 8 events this year will have practice and qualifying. We've already been through 2 of them. This next one, the 600, will have practice and qualifying. So, we've only got 5 more after 600. And teams have set budgets, including how much they charge sponsors, and car build schedules based on no backup cars for the 28 other events on the season. And this current generation of Cup cars, as you know, will be obsolete after this year, as we go to the next gen cars for 2022. So, I think that is going to cover it for now. We're going to be looking ahead to Charlotte. I will be doing a live play-by-play reaction to the 600 on Sunday, special time, 5:30 p.m. Sunday on Twitch and YouTube. And I will be right back at you 8 p.m. next Monday for the debrief. Mike, signing off. Rock on, race fans. Rock on. And please, there is no better person than you